This conference will now be recorded.
Alright, so in the last session, we were discussing about how to open the SQL Server Management Studio and how to connect to SQL Server and what are the DML statements and DDL statements inside the SQL Server we have discussed in the last session. So what I want to do, I want to reopen all these things again by closing the SQL Server. So how to connect to the SQL Server by using a SQL Server Management Studio. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open the SQL Server Management Studio. Simply go over here in the start after installation of the SQL Server Management Studio and SQL Server. So you will find the SQL Server Management Studio 18th version and open that. So I have installed the SQL Server more than one time, and whichever the instance you want to connect, you can connect. In a single computer, you can able to connect to SQL Server. This is one time I install, another time I have installed, this is another time I have installed. So whatever we have installed here, all those things we are going to connect SQL Server by using a SQL Server Management Studio. At a time, you can connect to many number of servers from the single SQL Server Management Studio. So this is my SQL Server Management Studio. I'm going to connect to the SQL Server. So simply go to the server name, click on that, and you can click on the browse for more. So then simply go to database engine. Under the database engine, see these many times I have installed the SQL Server. These many times I have installed the SQL Server. So in the last sessions we were discussing and installing this kind of version SQL 2 and desktop day-to-day e-classes batch 1 to 3. So I'm going to connect to my SQL Server instance, whatever I have installed. There are two ways you can connect. Either you can use a Windows authentication or you can use a SQL Server authentication. If you are going to use the SQL Server authentication, by default the username is a SA and password is we have entered at the time of installing the SQL Server. At the time of installing the SQL Server, we have entered some password. So that password you need to keep in your mind. If you don't remember that password, better you can use Windows authentication. Windows authentication will not ask any kind of password or username. By default, it will take your system Windows username and password. Then click connect. Alright, so we are connecting to the SQL Server Object Explorer. Under the Object Explorer, you can see a database. We have created two databases in the last session. If you are closing this Object Explorer, how to open this Object Explorer? Simply on the top you can see there is a view, Object Explorer. There you can see Department DB, Employee DB. These two databases created by me yesterday. Apart from these two databases, there are four other databases available by default. These four databases, master, model, MSDB and TempDB, all these four databases are default when you are installing. These four databases will come. So these four databases, we have a different purpose. Master database is storing all the logins and security related information. Model database is something when you are creating your own user defined databases, then that will take a copy of model database. And MSDB database is basically storing all your schedules, jobs related information. Temp database is a temporarily objects can be saved inside the temporary database. Okay, so we are not going to use these four databases anywhere to create a tables and storing the data. To create a tables and storing the data, we will create our own databases. In the last session, I created two databases, Department DB and Employee DB. So any of one database you can use to create the tables and to store the data inside the tables. A database is a collection of tables, and a table contains columns and rows. I can show you a sample structure of the table. There is a table, the table name is EMP table. Under this EMP table, we have employee name, date of joining, and salary. So these are the four columns we have, and we have the data. You need to define the data type of the columns over here. Integer data type, char, varchar, and varchar. These are the strings. When you are going to store, you can use character, varchar, and varchar any of one. And date time. Date, if you want to store only dates related data, you can use date. And only timing, you can use time. And the combination, if you want date time, you can use. And decimal and float, any kind of values, you can use this decimal and float over here. So I'm going to create a table. Yesterday we are trying to create the table inside this employee DB. We will check whether the table is created or not. So under the employee DB, go to the tables. We haven't created any table yet. If you want to create any table or any database, you need to write down a simple SQL queries. Any kind of SQL statements, if you want to write down, you should use any of one command out of these 8 commands, whatever we are going to use. We are categorizing these 8 commands into different categories. One is DML commands and DDL commands. DML means data manipulation, commands. DDL means data definition commands. Okay, data manipulation commands versus data definition commands. So under the DDL commands, we have a create, drop, alter, truncate. Under the DML commands, insert, update, delete, select. The difference between the DML command and DDL commands are the DDL commands mostly are going to work on the creation of a table, creation of this table, and dropping of the table. Forget about the data. I'm not talking about data. If you want to create a table, table name is EMP, you can use create command. And the table created, if you want to drop the table, use drop command. And the table whatever you created, for example, at the time I created employee name column, I have given the size as a 10. Later I want to increase the size. That means you are trying to alter the structure. Or I want to add one more column, that is employee pin code. So you are going to add one more column over here. You are going to add one more column over here. So that is called altering the structure of the table. So that is the reason we are calling these are the DDL commands. Means you are defining something, an object, and whatever you defined, if you want to drop or if you want to alter, modify, you are going to use the DDL commands for the structure alteration or the structure creation. The DML commands will work only on this data. DML commands will work on the data. How these DML commands will work? If you want to insert the data into this table, you will use insert command. What is the other DML command we are using? If you want to update any data, for example, I want to update this salary rate for this we have, instead of 40.65, I'm going to use it say 60.5. Okay, so you need to update that value. You need to update that value. So, or if you want to delete a data inside this table, you are going to use the delete command over here. Correct? You are going to use delete command over here. So this is how the DML commands will work on the data level, means data manipulation. DDL commands are working on the object level and the table level, like creating, dropping table, modifying the structure of the table. The data manipulations are performing on the data manipulations are performing on data level. So those DML commands we are using. Now I hope you understand the difference between DML and DDL. What is DML? DML commands we are firing on the data, on this data only. DDL commands we are going to change anything or creating anything the table. Okay, first what I want to do, I want to create a table. What is the syntax to create a table? To create a table, definitely you need to use DDL command. What is the command to create? Create command. Create table. Table name is EMP table. Employee number, and the data type you need to define integer data type. If it is a number, what data you are going to insert into this column? All are numbers, 100, 200, 300. So if it is a number, you need to use integer data type. And if it is an employee name, it's a string characters. If you want to insert like Ram, Vihan, Sham, then any of one data type you need to use, char, varchar, and varchar. And how many number of characters you want to allow them to insert into this column, those many number of characters you need to specify. If you are giving 10, they can enter only the names with the 10 characters. They cannot insert more than 10. What is the maximum limit? Maximum limit 8,000. So I'm going to use here varchar 100, means up to 100 characters you can. Coming to the date of joining, the date of joining I'm going to use date and time both. So I want to insert the time also, what time they have joined. And the salary per hour basis, I'm going to make it as a float, means a decimal value I'm going to use for this one to store the salary. So this is how we can create a table. So I'm going to create this table. In which database it will create? Can someone give answer? If I'm executing this create table EMP employee number, whatever the SQL command, by clicking on execute, in which database it is going to create?
Employee database.
Employee DB database. The reason that you are executing this SQL command by selecting this employee DB database in the top. Many people are complaining and asking the doubt. They will select by default master database in the top, and they will execute this command. Table will be created in the master database, but they are trying to search in the employee DB. Sir, the table is not creating for me. Table will create where whichever the database you are selecting on the drop down. Okay, so when you are going to write down SQL queries, please check and verify which database you are creating. You can use employee DB. Okay, all right. So the next thing is create a table. So execute this command. Done. Command completed successfully. This is completed, and you can verify. Just try to refresh this database. Go to the tables. Under the tables, you can see there is a EMP table, dvo.emp table. See, this table contains the structure employee, employee number, employee name, date of joining, and salary. Okay, employee number, employee name, date of joining, and what is the data type of this column also you can see. Do we have any data inserted into this table? How can we see? To check whether there is a data inside a table or not, you need to use a select command. Select command is for selecting what data you have inside a table. So what is the syntax you need to write down? Select start from EMP. If you observe over here, when I was creating this table, I have given EMP only. But what is this DBO dot? What is the DBO? Why this DBO is coming?
Database object.
When you are creating, yeah. Generally, we are calling that as a schema name. What is the meaning of schema name? Schema name means whenever you are creating a table, if you are not specifying that table under a particular schema, by default it will get DBO dot EMP. So default schema name is DBO. The abbreviation of DBO is database object. What purpose we are using a schema name? For example, the same database, employee DB database, I am using for two projects. One project is sales team project, another is marketing team. So all the sales team, or the tables they want to create, they will create under the sales schema. All the tables what they are creating under marketing project, they will make the schema name as a marketing. For example, the table whatever I created, EMP, I haven't specified any schema name, right? So I want to drop this table. How to drop this table? Drop table EMP. So just try to execute this command. To drop any table, you can use drop table EMP. Okay, what I want to do, the EMP table what I am going to create, I want to create under the sales schema, sales.emp. But first create a schema. How to create schema? Create schema and the schema name is sales. Click on execute. Sales schema is created. Similarly, I am going to create marketing schema. Command completed successfully. Okay. Two schemas created. Now I am going to create this EMP table. But under which schema you want to create? Under sales schema. Create table sales.emp. Just try to execute this. Command completed successfully. Now we can check. Just refresh this database. Go to the tables. See sales.emp. I created this EMP table under sales schema. And one more table I want to create under marketing scheme. Just try to refresh it. So marketing team, all their employees information they will insert into this table, and sales team they will insert into this table. You understand, right? What is a schema? The two schema names here is marketing and sales. What is the advantage of the schema? If I am creating a tables under a particular schema, the advantage of schema creation is it is grouping of all your objects into under one schema. Then when you are going to apply any security related permissions, when you are going to apply any security related permissions, if you are applying on the schema level, all the tables related to that particular schema will be applicable. Instead of creating for one particular table individually, you can apply on the schema. So it is grouping all the objects under one schema. So now this employee DB database I'm using for two projects purpose. I'm using for two projects purpose. One project is marketing project, another project is sales project. So whatever the marketing and sales projects what we are using, individually they will use these tables. All right, so I created a table. I want to see the data, whether there is a data inside a table or not. If I'm executing this one, what will happen? It is throwing error, invalid object name, EMP. Why? You need to specify the schema name also. If you are creating a table under a default schema DBO, then you don't need to specify schema name. If you are creating a table under a particular schema, then you need to specify. I want to see marketing.emp table data do we have. Click on execute. There is no data over here. Employee number, employee name, date of joining, salary. Okay. So what do you mean by star? Star will return all the list of columns available under this table. You don't need to specify the list of columns. What do you want to display over here? List of columns. What do you want to display over here? For example, I want to display the data available under this EMP table only for the employee number and employee name column. Then you need to specify only those columns like employee number and employee name. So you just try to execute these two commands. So now it is returning employee number and employee name. Okay. All right. So a star indicating all the list of columns in a table. I don't have any data inside this table. I want to insert some data. How to insert a data? Inserting a data into a table means it's a DML operation. You are trying to do some manipulations of the data. Manipulation means it's not always modifying something. You are trying to insert the data into a table. So to insert the data into a table, what is the command we need to use? Insert command. Can someone tell the syntax how to insert a data into this table? Because all these topics we have learned in our college days. The subject name is RDBMS, if you remember. Even for BTech students and MCA students, they can find this subject. Creating a database, creating table, inserting data, updating data, deleting data. So how to insert a data? What is the statement we need to use? Always try to write down when you are writing SQL statements in caps letter. If you are writing in caps letter, SQL server is reading more faster the caps letters instead of small letters. So the syntax to insert data into a table is insert into which table? Marketing dot emp table. So always when you are creating any table with a different schema name, that schema always you need to specify whenever you are using the table. So in this emp table, what are all the columns you are going to insert the data? I want to insert the data into employee number, employee name, date of joining, and salary. And what are the values you are going to insert? The values I am going to insert into this table is whatever the order you are specifying here, the same order you need to specify. Employee number, what do you want to insert? 100. Employee name, Ram, and date of joining 2019-0101. And what is the salary? 50.46. This is the salary. And you can exit this command. Data is inserted. Okay, one row effective. Do you want to check the data is inserted or not? If you want to see whether there is a data inside a table or not, write down select star from marketing.emp table. See, this is the data you have inserted. One more record I want to insert. One more record. So without using this column names also, it's mandatory every time to write down these column names, because you are trying to insert the data for all the columns, then you don't need to specify the columns. I'm going to insert 200 Vihan, and his date of joining is 2018 0605, and rate of the salary is 40.46. Okay, let's execute this. So I didn't specify the column names even though data is inserted. See, 100, 200, Ram, Vihan. These are the joining dates and this is the salary date. What I want to do, one more employee I want to insert, but I don't know the date of joining of that employee. The employee number is 300 and the name is Sham. I don't know the date of joining, so I don't insert that. But the rate is 30.46. If I'm executing this one, is it executing successfully or it is giving error?
It might show error because we are missing the order.
Okay. So we were specifying to insert only 3 values: employee number, employee name, salary. Date of joining is missing. But in this EMP table, we have 4 columns. Okay. This marketing.emp contains 4 columns. How do you want to insert this data? How the SQL server is going to understand? Employee number, employee name. It's not salary. It's the date of joining, but date of joining is missing. So you need to specify the order. When if any value is missing while you're inserting, definitely need to specify the order. When you are inserting all the values for all the columns, then you don't need to specify. So employee number, employee name, and salary, not the date of joining. Then you can execute this. So what will happen if I'm not inserting the value to date of joining? If I'm not inserting the values, then what will happen?
We'll be showing a
Click
blank.
execute. Yeah, it's not blank, it's null value. Then you can check the values. See here, 100, 200, 300. Ram, Vihan, Sham, and these are the 2 joining dates. But unfortunately, I don't know the date of joining of the Sham, so I haven't inserted any value. Then it is coming as a null value. Got it? One more employee I want to insert. So this time 400, and The name of the employee is Kirti, and I know the date of joining of this employee, 1991 0702, and the value is, I don't know the salary. Later I will. If I'm executing this one, what will happen?
We need to remove the salary from the columns.
Yeah. So the salary column, it's a date of joining column, not the salary column. So now we can execute. One row affected. Okay. Now we can check the data. So this is how the data is coming. Now I got the update. The date of joining of the Shami is something the 2019 0101. So how to update the value for the employee, this employee?
Using update syntax.
Right. So you are trying to do the manipulation to the existing data. We are manipulating the data, then you need to use update command. Whenever you are trying to update anything inside your table data, you should use update. What is the syntax to update your data inside the table? So you have to write down like this. Update. What do you want to update? Marketing dot emp table. I'm trying to update. Set which column you want to update. Date of joining. So date of joining, I'm going to update 2019 0101. If you remember, if you observe here, whenever I'm specifying any strings, characters, or dates, I'm putting in a single quotes. If it is a number, I'm not specifying in the single quotes. So in SQL Server, whenever you are going to specify any values in a characters or in the date formats, definitely you have to keep in the single quotes. So that's the reason I have specified even here also, and I'm going to update date of joining in the single quotes. If I'm executing this command, what will happen?
It will show some error
We need
because
to
we are not.
specify.
It will affect all rows, I think so, because you did not write the where condition or anything.
Exactly. So it is going to update a date of joining for all the employees. All these date of joinings come as it 2019 01. Is it correct? No. I want to update only for this value. Means this particular row, whatever the date of joining we have, only that value I want to. This value, sorry. Yeah. Only this value I want to. I'm not a good writer. This one.
We need to specify the row number.
I don't have any row number. Do we have any column with row number?
No.
Ignore this one. This is not for us.
We need to specify the name.
If you're executing this command, it is it is updating the EMP table. Inside the EMP table, date of joining column having so many values, but I don't want to update all the values in the date of joining. I want to perform for a particular value. Then how can you tell among these many employees which information you want to update the date of joining? You specified the date of joining value you want to update, but for which employee? That you need to specify.
Okay, we need
Which
to specify
employee you
employee
want to
number.
update? Where employee? Yeah. So employee number equal to 300. This employee's date of joining I want to update. This employee's joining I want to update. For the same employee, the salary is 30.46. I'm giving some increment to this employee. I want to update at a time date of joining as well salary also. So simply put, comma, salary equal 60.40. Got it? Update a table set date of joining equal to 2019-01-01, salary equal to 60.40, where employee number equal to 300. Execute it. One row affected. We will see that both values are updated. Same date is updated. Salary also 60.40. Now tell me, I want to update salary. I want to update salary wherever I have a null. I want to update. Got my point? If any of the employee having salary null value, then I want to update. I don't know whether this 400 at the end. I have 1 crore employees in my organization. Out of this 1 crore employees, if anybody having a null value, their salary is null, then I want to update that salary with the 30.36. Then what is the condition we need to do?
Filtering.
What is the condition I need to write down? So tell me the update statement. Update which table? Marketing dot EMP table. So whichever the column you want to update, you need to write down with a set operator. Salary equal to equal to 30.36. Salary equal to 30.36. For which employee you want update the salary? If I'm executing this command, what will happen? It is going to update for all this. No, I don't want to do like this. I want to update the 30.36 wherever this employee is having the salary value is null. So what is the condition I need to write down? Obviously, you need to write down where condition. Where salary is null. Wherever the salary column value is null, then I want to Update that one. How many employees having salary is null? Only one employee, so it has affected. Now we can check the data. See, only this employee affected. If you have more than one value, yes, automatically wherever the null value available, it will exist. When we will use is condition can be used only when you are writing a condition, when you are checking for the null value. Whenever you are checking for the null value, then is condition you need to write down. Okay, so someone is asking a question. When I am updating this one, I have specified the condition employee number equal to 300. Instead of employee number, can't we take the employee name? Instead of 300, can I put Sham? If you are putting Sham over here, what is the problem? The problem is there are many employees with the same name. If you are writing a condition, update the date of joining and salary where employee name equal to Sham means in my organization there are many Shams, but each employee having their unique employee number. Employee number should not repeat. They have their own employee number. That employee number should not be repeat. Okay, that's the reason I don't recommend to filter the data based on the employee name. Try to identify in this table what is the column value identifying a employee uniquely. Each employee having their own PAN card number. Each employee having their Aadhaar card number or their voter ID. So based on that you can recognize. Any questions on this update command? So for example, I want to update the data. Please put in mute if you don't have any questions.
I have a question actually. Can we do these operations, I mean, graphically?
Graphically? What do you mean by graphically? Oh yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
when we are creating.
I got your question. So you mean here by right clicking on this table, do you want to edit the data? Yes, you can edit. But I don't recommend to do all these things here. Don't use right clickings and all those things. You are a developer. You should write in a SQL. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to update the salary. I want to update the salary for the employee 100 and 300. Tell me what is the condition I need to write. I want to update salary for the employees, employee number 100 and 300.
Update
We can use
marketing dot.
and
Yeah, one by one. Update marketing dot emp set salary equal to 30.67
Where employee 300
tell employee
number equals 300
300
and comma 400.
comma 400. What happened?
Error. Or else we can take this comma 400 and write where employee number 400 also.
We can use the end
You mean
function.
one more where condition? Which function?
Or where.
Where employee number 300 and
You cannot
where
I think we should use in.
You cannot exactly. So we are trying to update the salary for the employee numbers. One value when you have use in operator more than one, right? So for these two employees, I'm going to in this three things only. Single value
Sorry, there was some internet issue. Okay, so what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to delete the data, whatever I have inside this table. If you want to delete any data, then you need to write down a delete command. So delete command also is one of the DML command. Delete command also one of the DML command. So out of those four DML commands, we have discussed about insert command, update command, and out of these DDL commands, create, drop, truncate, and what is the other one?
Alter.
Alter. So we have to discuss about alter as well. So these 8 commands are very important. If you are, because every day in your real-time projects, without using these commands, there is no SQL. So that's why I'm spending 2 to 3 days on these commands. Okay. Any questions so far? So these notes I will share to everyone, whatever I am typing over here. And if you guys have any questions, then you can call me or you can ping me on the group as well. So I created a group. So whoever not joined in that WhatsApp group, please ping me on the WhatsApp. I will share that group invitation to your WhatsApp chat, then you can join. The meeting link is going to change for the next session, for tomorrow session. So whoever joining in that group, they will get the meeting link. So what I'm suggesting, please ping me in the WhatsApp if anybody not yet joined on this group. Okay, so link will be changed by the next session. I will share that link in that group only. Okay, all right,
Hello.
guys.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes,
So
please.
this is Shravan.
Hmm.
Update function we can use only for data. Alter function we can modify the table. That is for column field names like columns, right?
Right. Update statement only updating the this part.
Okay.
But alter command is, for example, if you want to add a new column, PAN card
Okay.
ID, that means your table structure changes. Or for example, I am creating employee name, I have given varchar 10. I want to make it 100. So structural changes. Any structural changes if you want to do, you can use the alter command. That we will discuss in the tomorrow.
Okay.
Alter command. So please practice. The assignment today is, I'm going to send assignment for today. What do you need to do? Please ping me all your mail IDs in the group, whatever the group we created, right? So please ping me your mail IDs. I will send assignment to your mail IDs. So you have to finish. Okay. All right, guys. We will meet tomorrow. Thank you. Okay, I think Shivakumar is facing issue. Okay, I will call him.